Since you all have your own local meteorologists that are doing a great job covering this storm, we're not going to do a weather forecast. We're just going to go straight to the information that you need, and when we're all done, if you have any questions, we'll be glad to answer any of those. So first of all, as I think most of you have reported, Duval County schools are going to be closed on Wednesday because of the expected icy conditions. And when that decision was made, that sort of went down the line. City offices, emergency operations centers partially activated. All City of Jacksonville offices will be closed on Wednesday. We'll have only essential personnel that are there. We're obviously concerned about having people on the roads, as all of you I know are as well in these conditions. Essential personnel will report for duty before conditions deteriorate, and non-essential personnel will be home on administrative leave. City Council committee meetings that were scheduled for tomorrow morning are going to be rescheduled for Thursday when we're expecting much better conditions. At the beaches, offices for Jacksonville, Neptune, and Atlantic Beach will have a delayed start and open at 10 a.m. on Wednesday. Baldwin Town Hall will be closed on Wednesday, and the Baldwin Senior Center will be closed for the rest of the week. The Fourth Circuit Court, they are only going to have first appearance. Beyond that, it will be essential personnel only there as well in Duval, Clay, and Nassau counties. State Attorney's Office, same. They'll be closed as well on Wednesday. There will not be any Zoom hearings. Additional offices that we have heard from, property appraiser, tax collector, supervisor of elections, public defender's office, clerk of courts, all closed on Wednesday. We have opened 2 additional warming centers. You know, we've had the warming centers that have basically been open since we've started this sort of crazy cold snap, but we've opened 2 more for Tuesday night. Given the expected weather impact on the west side of Duval County, and in a few minutes, Chief Ayuba is going to come up and tell you more about those locations, the operation hours, and what to bring with you. As far as trash pickup is concerned, the landfill is going to be closed on Wednesday, so all trash pickup scheduled then will be rescheduled for Saturday. Road safety. This is probably the most important thing I'll say tonight. The safest place to be, obviously, is at home. We're expecting the weather to start deteriorating as we get later into the night, and then overnight into early tomorrow morning. We're most concerned about ice on the roads. I don't know how many of you, most of you look very young, but I don't know how many of you were around in 1989, but I can tell you I still have PTSD from that experience. So we definitely don't want to see you on the roads having a bunch of slow motion accidents or worse. So please encourage everybody at home to stay off of the roads. The Florida Department of Transportation will be pre-treating state bridges to stop ice from forming. The city's Public Works Department has crews ready to respond to icy conditions encountered on city roads or bridges. So what you'll want to do, as we always tell you in any sort of storm situation, is please just call 630-CITY if you have an issue that is not emergent. The call center will be staffed overnight starting at 10 p.m. tonight and go through 5 p.m. Tomorrow. If citizens encounter icy road conditions or down power lines, they should report again to 630-CITY. JTA will have normal operation hours on Tuesday. Services will start at 9 a.m. tomorrow unless it's not safe to do so, and non-essential employees will work remotely. JTA is providing transportation to the warming centers free of charge. So anybody that needs to get to one of the warming centers, the buses are going to be running as long as it is safe to do so. Buses have detours around bridges, so the routes are not impacted. Jacksonville, JAA, due to expected icy conditions, Jacksonville International Airport is actually going to cease airfield operations at 8 p.m. tonight. I know that during the hurricane season, we would tell you check with your airlines because they'll run as long as the airlines are still running. They're still running flights. But when it comes to ice, here we are simply just not really prepared to deal with it. And so out of an abundance of caution, the airport has decided to just go ahead and close. They plan to reopen at noon on Wednesday when conditions should start to rapidly improve. As long as it's safe, obviously, to do so. Cecil, Craig, and Hurlong airfields will cease operations as well at, well, they did that at 5 p.m. today, and they will have the same scenario as the airport. JEA's downtown headquarters customer solution center will be closed on Wednesday. Customers can manage their accounts at jea.com or by calling 904-665-6000. Electric and water crews are out and ready to respond to any outages that we may have from this scenario. Hopefully we won't have too many. JEA will not disconnect any customer services due to non-payment tomorrow. We recommend customers protect their pipes by dripping outside and indoor faucets in a steady stream to prevent pipes from freezing. And also wrap any exposed pipes outside or in unheated areas. And obviously you want to make sure that you're getting your pets inside tonight. Stay Jack's Ready, as always. We love our app. We think that it's absolutely fantastic, and there's new information being added to the Jack's Ready app all the time. So if you have not downloaded the Jack's Ready app, please do so because it's so helpful and gives you all kinds of great safety tips as well. So I don't know who's next. Okay, Director Callen, like I said, once everybody goes through, we'll answer questions.
Thank you, Mayor Deegan.
Good evening. I'm Director Joe Cowan, Director of Patrol and Enforcement with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. You're going to hear a constant theme tonight and into tomorrow is if you don't need to be out on the roads, please stay at home. If you do find yourself that you have to be out on a roadway, use caution. As the mayor mentioned, we are working with our public partners, FHP, Florida Department of Transportation as well, to pre-position and identify any freezing of bridges and roadways that they may help us address, as well as City Public Works for more of the local bridges and roadways. But again, just if you don't need to be out on roadways, please stay at home. Our normal operations for patrol will continue. We're bringing in a few other assets early tomorrow to be prepared to identify or assist in any traffic-related issues that we have. But again, that's the best thing you can do to help us all out. Stay at home, unless you just need to. I'll be followed by Chief Powers. Chief.
Thank you, Director. I just wanted to talk about fire safety. It's extremely important right now because it's getting cold. People are going to be doing certain things to try to stay warm. If you're going to use a space heater, please do it safely. And that means keeping the space heater back 3 feet from any combustible materials. Make sure that you plug that space heater directly into an outlet, not into an electric extension cord. And when you're not in the room with the space heater or when you're going to bed, make sure that you turn it off. Fireplace safety. So if we lose power, people are going to be trying to use fireplaces. Just make sure that your chimneys and your vents are clean and free of obstructions. Make sure that you have a screen up in front of your fireplace. Don't leave the fire, just like the space heaters, don't leave that fire unattended. And if you have to clean your fireplace out, make sure that those ashes are in a container that's not going to catch on fire. Don't put them in a trash can with paper goods or something like that on a regular basis. And we just don't want you to be safe. If you're going to use candles, we recommend that you don't use candles, but if you do use candles, please never leave them unattended and leave them on a stable surface that is non-combustible. Avoid overloading. I mean, this is common sense here, but avoid overloading outlets. That causes a lot of fires. If the power goes out and you have a generator, please keep that generator back from all openings, windows, and all that, at least 20 feet. Do not put a generator inside because that generator is generating not only power, but it's also generating carbon monoxide, and carbon monoxide obviously is a silent killer. Be prepared for power outages should some of these frozen limbs fall on the power lines that JEA's already talked about. And the most important thing you need to have is a safety plan. Create a safety plan with your family before something happens so you have a meeting point out front. And when you leave the structure, don't ever go back inside. Okay, and with that, I'll turn it over to Director Ayub.
Good evening. So with the expected impacts from this dangerously cold weather, we have expanded our Women's Center contingency plan to address the needs of our community. So 3 City of Jacksonville Women's Centers will be open from 9 p.m. tonight till noon tomorrow to the residents that do not have access to adequate heat. Those 3 locations: the Legend Center, that's 5130 Sutel Drive; Cecil Gym and Fitness Center at 13531 Lake Newman Street; and West Branch Library, 1425 Chaffee Road South. With the exception of the West Branch Library, which will be used as a women's center, all branches will close at their regular scheduled time tonight and will reopen the morning of Thursday, January 23rd. Please note that we have changed our original seasonal women's center plan for this storm in order to put the safety of our library employees first, given the dangerous road conditions that we are expecting. What to bring to the women's centers? First, let me say this. If you can get there early, as I said, 9 p.m. tonight, don't wait till midnight, 1 a.m. Okay, get there early. What to bring to the women's centers: air mattresses, blankets, pillows, other bedding, snacks, medication, games, toys, books, hygiene and comfort items. As the mayor said, JTA will assist those with needs for transportation to the women's centers as long as it's safe to do so. This information can be found on our jaxready.com or our Jax Ready app. And I want to say this because I'm extremely proud. I know me and the Chief Health Officer for the city, Dr. Joshi, mentioned this. In the 7 days in 2025 that we have opened the Legend Center, we've had 72 people go there. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. That's 72 potential lives we've saved doing this. And I'm extremely proud. We have a task force that's been overseeing this for the last 2 years, and I'm proud to be that part of that team. So with that, thank you. Mayor?
Andre, pets. Pets can go to the.
Yes, to the Legend Center, we have cages there, and pets can go to the Legend Center. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Any questions, Fred?
I know that FDOT, you mentioned, is going to be taking care of, pre-spraying or salting the roads or whatever, or the bridges. When it comes to local roads, what kind of efforts are going to be rolled out tomorrow if there's snow on the ground or ice or whatever to get them cleared out?
Well, we basically use sand in those situations. We have sand ready to go. Public Works is ready for any conditions that become icy to go out there and sand the roads to create some friction for those. But our biggest concern, obviously, is some of those low-lying areas and also just the bridges. So we're glad that DOT is going to be pre-treating some of those, but we're ready for it. Our Public Works Department's all set with the sand to get out there and work on those roads as they need to.
What is the protocol to close bridges? We have a lot of viewers concerned about the bridges closing during this time.
I don't believe there is any plan to close the bridges. We're not expecting, I don't believe, when to be a situation. That's usually why we would close the bridges. If the ice got crazy, I guess we could, but I don't think we're expecting that. But we are asking people to stay off the roads. I mean, that's really the biggest thing. If our police officers out there for some reason see some things going on and they believe that it's appropriate to close the bridges, they'll close the bridges. But there's not a criteria beyond wind that I know of to close the bridges. Okay.
You mentioned, back in 1989, the last time we had a big snowstorm. Did you take any lessons from that? Because, you were working in the media back then. So
Yeah, it took me 4.5 hours to get from the beach to the television station, and we saw approximately 6 or 7 slow motion accidents while we were traveling there. And then we got stuck at the TV station for a few days and ended up having to stay downtown because we couldn't go over the bridges. That was a really tough scenario for us because remember there was rain, then there was snow, then there was ice. I mean, it was a longer event. We're not expecting quite that level of event here. But you don't know yet what you don't know. So I guess that's really the thing. We don't deal with these things very often. This hasn't happened in a quarter of a century. So we know one thing, and that is that we don't do very well when we try to drive on icy roads here in Jacksonville. So that I can take from that experience is if I didn't have to get in the car, I darn sure wouldn't, because I can't count the number of times on that one journey that I just sort of felt my car slide and had no control over it and just fortunately didn't hit anybody. So it's a tough thing to drive on ice here for us. We're just not very skilled at those things. And obviously we don't have snow plows, we don't have salt, we don't have those things because we don't deal with those things very often. But that's why we're just asking people to stay off the roads if they can.
Ms. Mayor, y'all are very experienced with tropical storms, obviously hurricane season, but 7 days that the Legend Center has had open for cold weather, extreme cold. As y'all are doing the planning for this, do y'all look and see whether there's equipment that it would be nice to have that we don't have, snow plows, de-icers, that kind of stuff?
Yeah,
Is there any investments you think the city should make in preparation for these type of events?
I think DOT has some of that stuff, and I think I just don't think it's something that we're going to deal with here often enough to invest in any big heavy equipment probably. I know that I think the governor mentioned that there were snow plows they have in the Panhandle, which is wild to think about. But so I expect we could have access to those things if we really saw a big event coming. But I don't know that we would invest in that.
Can you just talk about the other parts of Florida? They got all that snow. It's kind of nice, right? Once in a generation, but it looks like we're just going to get sort of the sloppy stuff, the
Well,
freezing rain and
I
stuff. Do
will
you wish
say-
we were getting some snow out of this?
That was a fun thing about 1989. Watching all the kids, on the little sleds going down the slopes and things. That's a fun part. But I suspect that that at some point in time, that's going to be us. And look, the forecast for this came further, further down than we thought, further east than we thought. So we're not done with this. We don't know exactly what we're going to get, but yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to get the fun snow. It looks like we're going to get the not fun slush.
I got a question for Chief Powers. What kind of guidance are crews getting as it relates to what's considered dangerous conditions on calls, and what does sending minimum crews and crews to fires, what does that mean, and how is it defined?
So we met this morning and had our safety command develop a safety brief. We brought all of our riding chiefs in today, and they were briefed on that. They have since gone out and are briefing all of our crews about how to respond, what the response protocol is. We're going to put a chief in fire communications in the 911 center tonight that's going to help with the dispatch protocols. We have some minimum stuff that has to be dispatched to structure fires, but anything that is above the minimum, we're going to not dispatch tonight while the roads are icy, just to try to protect our men and women and to protect the apparatus. Because as the mayor said, we as Floridians don't drive on ice a lot, so our skill level in that area is not great. So we're trying to protect the crews and keep them safe.
You all are helping out in the panhandle too, are you not?
We have not dispatched there. We've been asked to get a crew ready, but we have not dispatched yet.
Okay, everybody, thank you so much. Stay safe.